This scene of Jordan Peterson's talk really struck me.
Here's two options. One is, it doesn't bloody well matter what you do. Well, you think, God, nothing could be worse than that. Well, I can tell you something that would be worse than that. It's easy. Let's take the reverse. Everything you do matters. Okay, so what's the downside of that? It's like you don't get to get away with anything. Everything you do is important. It's linked to everything else.
I realized that this is what I want to get across with nearly all of my YouTube videos. My videos are different because they're not focusing on what you should do in the gym, meaning how much reps you should do and the exercise you should pick, although these components are crucial. I found out that your mindset is much more important. As a fitness manager, I realized that how you view your actions and the impact they have on your life is crucial for reaching your goals. People that come into our gym and are determined to reach their goals and are mentally sane, we just recently had a guy that wanted to be a fitness model after 1 year, usually do. Because life is like being on a boat on a river. Even if you make no decision and give away control, you still go down in a certain direction. I found out in my life that it's better to make a conscious decision and get thrown overboard by a current than making no decision at all. Here in this video, I show you how you can take control in the simple and actionable way. The first thing that we have to notice is that being ourselves is nonsense. If you do something often enough, it turns into a habit. And if that habit is sustained for years, it turns into our identity. If we acquired bad habits, we don't say anymore, I feel lazy that day. We consider ourselves a lazy person altogether. If we acquired good habits, we don't say anymore, I'm going to the gym often. We consider ourselves gym rats. This can be dangerous because if we acquired the bad habits due to genetics or our environment, we think like we can't change. I read a book called The Long Way Gone some years ago. It's the story of a child soldier which turned his life around. Child soldiers were considered to be hopeless cases because the stress that these individuals had to deal with at critical brain development stages were thought to leave chronic damage in the brain. It was thought to be impossible to reintegrate them in a civilized society. Turns out it wasn't. I cannot guarantee you very much, but I'm pretty sure that your fate is better than Ishmael, the name of the child soldier in the book. And if you turn his life around, you can too.
Pick up your responsibility. Pick up the heaviest thing you can and carry it. And the room goes quiet and everybody's eyes open and I think, that always makes me break up.
After realizing that it's possible, you have two options to change the direction of your life. One, severe trauma.
He said adults learn through massive trauma. So you will learn. You have to let in some trauma into your life. And that's rough, but no pain, no gain.
We all know Pavlov, the famous scientist that conducted experiments on dogs. He subjected the dogs to life-threatening situations and realized that their personalities completely changed.
Had as much stress as you can imagine a dog ever having. And the water receded in time to save some of the dogs. And Pavlov noted that they had a total reversal of their conditioned personality.
Trauma seems to align our neurons in completely different ways. I think it increases our neuroplasticity because our brain realizes that what we've done until now has not been working and is threatening our survival. It therefore is especially prone to learning under those circumstances. Examples like these are breakups, diagnosis of a disease, and poverty. The bad side of this method is just that it involves extreme pain.
Sort of pain is one of those things that brings the idea that it would be better if it didn't exist.
I therefore think that we are better off if we implement the second tactic. 2. Doing the impossible. What really helped me was doing the impossible. My friends always told me that I would never get a six-pack, and even after 1.5 years of training, my friends told me that I will never get one if I hadn't gotten it until now. After doing my first proper diet, I realized that I could get a six-pack if I had the right knowledge and patience. The same goes to you. You might think that you'll never be able to stop smoking, for example, but once you've done it, you will feel reborn.
Where do you start? You start right here. And when do you start? You start right now.
A great action that we can do right now to get to doing the impossible is to create a tough reference experience. If you know that you want to go for a run more often, go for a run tonight at 1 AM. If you want to stop being lazy, go to sleep tonight at 7 PM and wake up tomorrow at 4 AM and read a book.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
If you want to eat better, eat an entire broccoli for dinner tonight. You see the point I'm trying to make? If we're exposing ourselves consciously to an extreme situation at the beginning of a habit process, we can look back and think, if you survive that, we can survive this.
So it's as if you have latent software, that would be one way of thinking about it, that will only be turned on if you go into the situation where that's necessary.
Next time if you want to go for a run at 8 AM in the morning and don't feel like it, you tell yourself, after the video of QG I went for a run at 1 AM. I might as well survive this one 7 hours later. Find the extreme of your habit and do it, just for one time. Trust me, this simple action feels amazing. I really like Jordan Peterson and his approach to life. I think he's a really interesting and down-to-earth guy, which we all can learn a lot from. It's important that we all realize that we have more control than we think.
You make a mistake, especially one that you know is a mistake, you will absolutely pay for it.
And design our lives in the way we as individuals want to, not by the circumstances we find ourselves in.
If I'm a victim, then everyone else owes me something, and I don't have to take any responsibility. And so
there's no sense in blaming others or the way the world functions.
it might be that the sense of meaning that life can provide to you is proportionate to the amount of responsibility you decide to take on.
Instead, we can recreate ourselves by exposing us to severe trauma or doing the impossible. If you like this video and want to know more about fitness, nutrition, mindset and health, and how these things can help you get the most out of your life, subscribe to this channel.